Welcome, Sebastian. How
Thank
are you
you.
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm good. I would like to remind our listeners about 3 weeks ago, we talked about the Veikkausliiga teams, which is the first league in Finland. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Kakkonen, which is the Division 1 team in Finland and the league as well. And last week, we were talking about the Kakkonen, Group A of the Kakkonen League, which is the Division 2 in Finland. And today, we'll be talking about the Group B. So if you are a first-time listener, this is the series that we are going through, talking about the leagues, and we will be concluding this series on the coming episode with the Group C of the Kakkonen League, which is still the Division 2. So there are 3 groups in Division 2. Let's go straight to talking about the Group B of the Kakkonen League.
Yeah. What's your interesting teams for this season in Kakkonen Group B? Musa?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Group A. I'm familiar a lot with Group C.
Yeah.
Looking at this Group B, I'm really not so familiar with them. But if I have to go by your question, I will go by the cities, the teams that are in the big cities in this Group B. So I will be picking out Ilves, Tampere.
Yeah.
That's the should I call it the feeder team or the academy team of the
They
Veikkausliiga?
call it in England. We call it the under-23s team, basically.
Exactly. So,
Under-23s. Yeah.
yeah. So I will be going for them, and I will also be going for FC Honka too.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
Also,
are my.
the Honka's academy team. You know, the youngsters.
Yeah.
Again, under-23s team. FC Honka under-23s.
Yeah.
FC Honka plays in Veikkausliiga top level, and also Ilves plays in Veikkausliiga. So these teams, Honka Academia and Ilves Kakkonen, are they're under 23 teams.
Yeah.
Just
Those will be my 2 favorites from this particular league. But I'm still looking at TPV, Tampere Paloviekot.
Okay.
They were in the same.
Our noisy neighbors.
Yeah. So if I'm after Ilves Tampere Kakkonen and the Ilves Academy team and the FC Honka FC Academy team, I will pick as my number 3 team in this group as Tampere Paloviekot, which is TPV.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I put them as relegation favorites.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I do.
All right. Okay. Let me justify myself before. Let me justify myself before you go any further here. I'm putting Tampere Paloviekot TPV in this as number 3 because they were in the same group as a group from Group C. If I remember correctly, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good. That very year. So coming from that year, which they were in the same group as Group C, I'm still looking at them within that range. So that's why I'm putting them. And of course, Tampere is a big city, one of the biggest cities among the cities that are all in this group. Yeah. Probably they're even the biggest. I'm not sure if Espoo is bigger than Tampere. I can't be so sure about that. But if they are not, then Espoo, and they are the second there. So that's why I'm giving it to Tampere Paloviekot also. But definitely you live very close to them. You know them much more.
I know a couple of things, yes. We'll get into that soon.
Yeah. So, but anyway, just like we always let our listeners know, there are also 12 teams in this Group B, and I will just go through them quickly, and Sebastian will give us his views regarding all of these 12 teams, one after the other. Yeah. So from the list that I'm using here, I will start with Hämeenlinna Jalkapallo Seura, which is HJS, and there is Karinan Pojat, and I think Karinan Pojat is somewhere around the Turku area.
Yeah.
My research that I've done regarding them, and this is the first time actually I'm paying so much attention on Karinan Pojat also.
Yeah.
So Grand Kula EFCO Grifk.
Yeah.
And Sebastian, there is one interesting thing that we should let our listeners know actually. There is a lot of teams that comes with EFCO in Finland.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our audience or let our audience know why some teams have this EFCO?
Yeah, Finland is a double language country where the main languages are Finnish and Swedish. And that comes from basically most of the cities located by the sea, next to the Sweden Sea, is they speak mainly Swedish, not all, but basically their dual language. They speak Finnish and Swedish. So all these clubs, and also in this case Krankula EFK. EFK is a short letter term for Idrottsföreningsklubben, or something like this. I might be part of my Swedish, but basically it means a sports club in English. Okay. And that's a Swedish term, sports club EFK.
I feel like it's a very important information for our listeners to actually know if they are not familiar with the Finland Scandinavian way of football and how football clubs have been named. We have FC Honka, which is the academy team, just like Sebastian explained earlier. We have FC Jazz Juniorit, which is a team from Pori, and Pargas EF.
Yeah, Biffen, a short nickname, Biffen.
Okay, I don't really know much about this team at all. I don't even know about the city called Pargas.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process also for me today. So as our listeners are learning, I'm also learning quite a lot from these teams. And we have a Tampere Ilves Kissat. That's another team from Tampere. We have a Espon Palo Seura.
Yeah.
We have a Tampere Palo Vehicle, which is TPV, which I put on number 3, but Sebastian have a different thought. We will be hearing that very soon.
Football is football, you never know, but let's see. That soon.
Also, we have a Vanta Jalkapallo Seura, which is in Helsinki, Vanta. We have Sallon Palo Iliad, which is in Sallo, small city actually, or a small town.
Yeah, near Turku again, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to call it village. And we have a Ilves Tampere too, which is the junior team, under 23 team of the main Veikkaus Liiga team, which is Ilves. Yeah. So these are the 12 teams in Group B of the Kakkonen League this season. So Sebastian, over to you. Let's have your view.
Okay, like I said, my promotion favorites, 2 out of 3 are the same as you. I would put FC Honka Academia as one of the favorites to get promoted this season. They had a strong last season. Excellent players, good youth coaches, good youth academy, these kind of stuff. So definitely they will be up there in my books. The second team will be Ilves under 23s, Ilves Kakkonen. Last season they were second place. They just run out of steam towards the end of the season. They could have given Klubi 04 a good run for their money in getting promoted. This season, hopefully, maybe they can make the one step up. They'll definitely be up there anyway at the top six for sure. But they'll put Ilves Kakkonen as second place, and then third place I would put Biffen, Pargas EF.
Okay.
Yeah, last season they were 4th, 1 point away from 3rd position, and they have strengthened themselves pretty well. Lots of things have stayed the same, and they're looking to get promoted this season. They have done a good job, so I will be looking forward to seeing them playing this season.
Wow. Okay.
At the relegation end, I have 3 teams that, in my books are fighting for the 2 relegation places. One of them is Vantaan Jalkapalloseura. They just got promoted from Kolmonen. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens. They haven't played in Kakkonen, I think, only during their whole career, the whole history of the club, maybe only 3 between 5 seasons they've only played in Kakkonen. So they have very little experience at this level. So I'll be thinking they'll be finding it a bit of a struggle, and most probably being within one of the teams to get relegated this season. The second team will be TPV, Tampereen Palloveikot, and this is just to the fact that last season you were talking about TPV 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
They had a strong team. They were just relegated from Ykkönen then that season. They had a big budget. The point is they were over budgeted. They spent money that they didn't have. And now they're almost bankrupt. And, no money, COVID situation, 1 year with COVID, it's very struggling. They have lost all of their senior players. every single one of their senior players from last season has ended their contracts and moved on to other clubs. The team is filled with A juniors and B juniors, and they are trying to play in Kakkonen this season. They have good A juniors because I've been playing against them with my own team. I know them very well. They have a good bunch of lads there, but to demand these boys to play the whole season in miesten Kakkonen will be a big ask of them. And I'm afraid that, you know, young players, they will develop for sure, but they will also make mistakes, which young players will do. Yeah. And these mistakes will cost them goals, and those goals will cost them points, and, you know, it will be cost them, you know, their place in Kakkonen this season. Yeah. And the third team that will be fighting for the relegation places will be Ilveskissat from Tampere also. They just got promoted from Kolmonen. And I know, in fact, there's one of my own junior players has signed for them now, and I lost my assistant coach as a player coach for Ilveskissat also. So he's definitely a top level player. They made a real gem signing there, you know, good premier signing, so to speak, Ilveskissat, and that could just be the thing that will tip the scales for them to be able to stay in Kakkonen this season. Okay. They have an ambitious project, a long-term project, a good base, Ilveskissat, and they're looking to establish themselves in Kakkonen and then get promoted to Ykkönen long-term plan. Within 5 years, I think. They have a solid plan, you know, they're getting some good stuff done at the club. There's good things going there, but this season, the first season in Kakkonen, will always be a challenge. Yeah. So they'll be, you know, looking just to, you know, not get relegated, but they have to fight for it. They will be there fighting for the relegation places. Okay, well, and the rest of the teams, like you spoke, Espoon Palloseura, they've had a big new project there, you know, a new image, a new style, a new everything, you know, a long-term project also. They're looking to get promoted within the next 3 years, I believe. They will be with the top 6 in my books. FC Jazz, player-wise, not so interesting again, but they have signed 2 top coaches there. Yeah. Their new head coach plus assistant coach, Jari Pyykölä. Yeah. With FC Jazz, you know, they have a lot of experience on the coaching side, and I think that will help them to be, you know, improve from their last season where they were fighting relegation spot until the very end, until they made a couple of good signings, you know, and those signings helped them to, you know, keep their place in Kakkonen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Krankula IFK will be in the mid-tables. Also HJS, Hämeenlinna Jalkapalloseura in my books. They're from my neighbours again, another noisy neighbour, south of Valkeakoski. Last season, I think they overplayed their skills last season. They were third in Kakkonen, but only 4 points away from 7th place. Yeah. It was so even. But, you know, they lost their top goal scorer to FC Haka. Sorry, lads. And they haven't really replaced him, you know, adequately. We'll see what happens. Okay. But, you know, they will be in the mid-table, maybe top 6, just around the 6th position, I think, OES this season. Kaapo, Salpa, these teams from the Turku area, young clubs, they will be on the bottom six, you know, happy to, you know, survive in Kakkonen also. Nothing much. They're young squad, young players, new coaches, some of them, this kind of stuff, so. That's basically the rundown in my books about Kakkonen Group B. Yeah. My interesting teams will be Ilveskissat. I'll be following, you know, my ex-player interestingly, plus my ex-coach. You know, it's got a close thing in that way in my heart. DP there for sure, because I know most of the players there. I've been playing against them, you know, for the past 2 years with my A juniors, under 20s team. So, you know, it'll be fun to see how the boys will, you know, hopefully, like I said, hopefully they will just enjoy the ride in Kakkonen and not take too much pressure, you know, just focus on developing side and, you know, don't take it too hard. If you get relegated, you can always get promoted in the next season. Yeah,
awesome. Good. So let's move on to the quarterfinals of the Kakkonen Cup games that was played. We have Japs, Järven Palloseura against Peppo. We have SJK Academia. I will be using Academia for this second team, so it's much easier for our listeners to follow. So SJK Academia against OLS, a team from Oulu, a city that I live. We have Nurmijärvi Pallo against Pardas.
Yeah, and yes, against Biffen.
Exactly. And we have also Ilves Academia against HJS.
Yes.
So, interesting results.
Yeah.
Peppo, you actually put them, both of them, at the top of their table. They are in the group A of the Kakkonen.
It was a tight game, wasn't it? A tight game.
Yeah, very tight game. It went into extra time, and maybe that thing that made us give Peppo the chance to be topping the table actually give them the results that they need. I think that's the thing that gave them the results. Yeah,
it was a good game, very, very, very entertaining, and Peppo just managed to bear it out in extra time. So 1-0 it ended for Peppo. They've done well in the Finnish Cup so far. They've done well. Let's see how far they go. Let's see how far they go into the next round.
Exactly. Well, I'm giving it up to them. And in the next round, actually, they've been grouped to play in the semi-final against Pargas.
Okay, Biffen.
Yeah, against Pargas. So that would be an interesting game. And the game is actually going to be played on the 20th of February.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one. So the next game was SJK Academia against OLS. That's the Festival of Goals.
Yeah.
5-2.
There was plenty of goals in that game.
Yeah.
It was, free-flowing attacking football.
I'm a little bit disappointed with OLS here anyway, but I don't know how strong the SJK Academia team is. But it looks like they're quite strong.
Yeah, they have a good squad. They have a good, strong squad of young players, and excellent coaching. A lot of full-time coaches, that are working there. They have a lot of money, as you go. So they're, really, investing in their academy also, and their own youngsters. So definitely a strong team to look out for. A bit, angry because they got relegated from Ykkönen last season. So they have plenty of things to show again this season in Kakkonen.
Referring to the relegation from Ykkönen last season, I was disappointed at them because they have enough resources to stay in Ykkönen, and becoming the whipping team of that group, I was really, really disappointed at their outing from last season. But let's hope they get everything right for themselves this season in Kakkonen, and then push for promotion.
Definitely.
So the next one was is Nurmijärven Pallo.
Yeah, and in Finnish.
Exactly, and one of your favorites would be.
Yeah, Biffen won 3-1 away win 3-1. Didn't watch the game. Nothing much to tell except like I said, Biffen continued where they ended last season. And this is the reason why I think they will be definitely, fighting for the top places again this season in Kakkonen.
Awesome.
Last season they ended strongly. They played a good season, solid season. This season, if they can build on it, they'll be definitely up there. And this is, in the semi-finals now in the Kakkonen Cup. So it's interesting to see how far they go.
Yeah, looking forward to their game against Peppo in the semi-final.
Yeah, that will be a good
game. And the last game of the quarterfinals is Ilves Academia against HJS.
Yeah, Ilves barely won it 3-2.
They just barely won it. I was thinking that it was a comfortable win.
Yeah, it was a comfortable on pitch. Ilves were controlling of the ball and that kind of stuff. Hoyer scored the goals. You could have been, interesting game if Hoyer managed to draw the game 3-3. Let's see which way it goes then, would have Ilves crumbled. But Ilves did their job, managed to win the game, and, they're through to the semi-finals now. So good luck to them, all the best.
Oh, good. So those are the 4 quarterfinal games, and now the semi-final game, which will be played on the 20th of February, will be between SJK Academia and Ilves Academia.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. And the second semi-final game will be Peppo against Pargas Pif.
Yeah, that's 2 very interesting matchups there. Two very interesting matchups.
At the end of this Kakkonen Cup games, I'm giving Peppo to still win this Kakkonen Cup.
I go for Seinäjoki under 23.
Oh, all right.
Let's see what happens.
All right, let's see what happens. I guess by the time we'll be recording the next episode, the finals will be the semi-final will be settled, and we will have known what team will be in the final game. So
yes,
hopefully SJK Academia and Peppo will be in the final, so that we both already have something to talk about.
that would be good. That would be good.
That would be interesting to look out for.
Yes.
So moving away from this Kakkonen Cup, let's go to the Soumi Cup games, the game that are played already.
Yeah. The final round was played from the group stages.
Yeah.
Basically, today I think they started playing the final rounds. There were some interesting happenings in Group A, like it was today. In fact, that we just heard the news that HJK and their under-23 teams, Klubi 04 have been quarantined for 14 days due to COVID. So their games have been postponed now for at least 2 weeks. They can't play their cup games, they can't play any games, and the players, every single player is self-isolating and training by themselves.
Wow.
For the both clubs. So that hits hard, pretty hard, hit HJK and Klubi. And also another team matchup that has been affected by this was, I think it was Mikkelin Palloilijat and Jippo, because they played against HJK and Klubi.
Yeah.
And those were also, then postponed, that game matchup from this final game of the group, final grade from the group, because of that COVID situation within the clubs.
Yeah. Wow. This is, I hope this is not going to be the trend when the real football season starts.
Because, let's hope that they get the vaccinations working, and the coming summer, the COVID situation and the flu epidemic will anyway go down. So
yeah,
we can start the season hopefully on time in April.
Let's really hope so.
Yeah, and look at HJK's situation in Group A. Helsingin IFK, they played their games. They've played 3 games. They won 2 and lost 1. They're top of the group.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage, FC Lahti are second placed.
Yeah.
Going through also, and HJK at this stage are only third placed. And they're looking to be, knocked out of the cup. And this game now postponed for 2 weeks. No team training for 2 weeks. Every single player is training by themselves for 2 weeks. That will definitely have an effect on the team performances on pitch when they play against FC KTP this cup game. So let's see what happens. If HJK loses that game, they will be third placed and out of the Finnish Cup.
Yeah.
And that will be a big disappointment for that club of that stature.
Wow, yeah. I haven't really thought about this corona situation or this isolation situation from this perspective that you just come up with.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. Training stops for 2 weeks totally. Team training. No team training for 2 weeks.
Wow. Meanwhile, KTP will continue to have their own training sections as normal.
Yeah, exactly.
So they will be at an advantage.
Definitely. In my book, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see that game, how will it affect, plus the pressure with HJK. Like I said, with their budget, they should be winning everything every single year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've I haven't talked about that. I think we've gone through the Group A of the Soumi Cup game, actually, because that's where we have the HJK, the Helsinki, Helsinki. That's where we have the KTP, that's where we have FC Lahti, and that's where we have Helsinki IFK.
Yeah.
So we've gone through that, and the results. Their result has been quite interesting actually in this group. FC Lahti KTP.
Yeah.
3-0.
Yeah. FC Lahti, good job. FC KTP, like I said, 2 games played, 2 losses. They lost the second game 1-0. So they're finding it tough now at this stage, and I think that will continue even with the season then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's keep I still keep my finger crossed on KTP, but it's not looking good at the moment for them. I hope they bounce back at some point and start getting something.
Anyway, they're out of the cup now for sure.
Yeah,
they have 2 games, 2 losses, 0 points.
0 points. So
they knocked out of the Finnish Cup after the game against HJK anyway, so they'll be playing without pressure against HJK. They'll be playing for honor.
Exactly true.
So the pressure will be on HJK in that matchup. IFK and Lahti have played their games, both games. Like we said, IFK leads the cup with 6 points. FC Lahti second place with 4 points.
4 points, yes. But meanwhile, Helsinki is also on the 4 points as well at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't. If they should lose definitely against Kotepe, then they are out of the cup as well. Let's leave Group B at the moment. Let's jump to Group C.
Okay.
Where we have AC Oulu.
AC Oulu, yes.
Yes. The only team that I've given to AC Oulu in this group has been Ilves, and they haven't disappointed me in that regard.
No. Congratulations on that one. Must have felt good.
Yes. But unfortunately, I think they are out of the Soumi Cup game as well.
Yes, they are. They finished their games. They're third placed in Group C. 1 win, 2 losses. They didn't do too bad. They just conceded 3 goals in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
But they only managed to score 2 goals, and that was their downcoming. They conceded okay, but they didn't manage to score enough goals to get them through.
Well, but are we giving them any chances against Cubes and against against Senayoke in the first place? No.
And Ilves also, tough teams, tough group for them.
It's a good experience for the new players, because the team has a lot of new players anyway. So it's a good experience for them to learn the game, to learn the Finnish football, to learn the trade here.
Yeah.
So let's hope they get themselves prepared for the real season, and let's see what the team is going to be offering us.
Yeah.
The fan here.
Yeah. But still, AC Oulu were above Ilves. Ilves 3 games, 3 defeats.
Yeah.
Like I said, 1 goal scored, 7 goals conceded. They look like a team who are very much within, a big transformation right now. They've, like we said in the first episode, they've lost a lot of good players, lots of experienced players abroad this season, and for sure that will show.
Yeah.
It will take time for them to get the new players playing the way the coach wants them to play.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the best for them, because it's not going to be a nice thing to have Ilves relegating from Veikkausliiga to Kakkonen. That's not going to bring a lot of good things to the city of Tampere, because at the moment, as from the city of Tampere, they are the only team. Hakka is the closest to them, but they are not referred to as from the same city, I would say. So it will be good to have Ilves still in the Veikkausliiga. So I hope the team does everything right when the real thing starts. And
I don't think they'll be they don't be looking for relegation. Ilves, they have enough to keep them in Veikkausliiga for sure. It's a long season, and they'll get it right, but it takes some time.
It'll take some time. Good. All right, so let's go back to Group B, where we have FC Inter, FC Onka, Hakka, Marianhem. Sebastian, what happened to Hakka?
I think they were a bit unlucky against Inter. They played very well. In fact, I think they dominated the game.
Mm-hmm.
They controlled the game, and then it was 0-0, 0-0 for in the second half, until unfortunately Louis De Lucas took his second yellow from a reckless challenge, and a red card. So Hakka had to play with 10 men. The final, I think, about 30 minutes maybe with 10 men. Mm-hmm. They changed their shape. That forced them into a change of shape, and but still. The goal they conceded was a soft one. It came from a set piece, after a corner kick. The Japanese player from Inter managed to score the goal. I don't remember his name, but still, it was the soft goal conceded. They shouldn't have conceded that kind of goal. Yeah. And even after that goal, they did some substitutions and got a new drive in, and they were threatening even to equalize. And in my opinion, with better finishing, they should have won the game.
Yeah.
Hakka should have won the game, so Inter were a bit lucky in that sense. Bad finishing from Hakka, good goalkeeping, good defending from Inter. Mm-hmm. But like I said in the first episode, after Inter will be one of the promotion favorites to win the Veikkausliiga this season. 3 games, 3 wins in their group, 5 goals scored, 0 goals conceded.
Mm-hmm.
Top defense, top goalkeeping, top team.
Yeah, and there is something interesting about this group.
Yeah,
Hakka can still qualify.
Yeah, even though they've now played their 3 games.
Yeah.
And Honka Mariehamn will be played tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
As we now record this, it will be played tomorrow. And if Mariehamn in fact win Honka,
Yeah.
then Aka will be still second placed.
Exactly.
And
Let's keep our fingers crossed for Haka on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be rooting for EFK Mariehamn.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that. So let's move on to Group D.
Yeah.
So Guineastan, Yippo, Klubio for Mikkelin, Palolia. So they've all played 2 games.
From Ykkönen groups.
Ykkönen groups, exactly. Yes.
So Guineastan, again under the new coach, like we talked about in the second episode, the new coach, the football professor, came in and saved them from relegation, and now he's been having this season time to make the team play like he wants them to play, and they're doing very strongly right now, top of their group. 2 games played, 1 victory, 1 draw, 4 points.
Yeah. And obviously, I think Yippo is not doing anything special in this Soumi Cup. Of course, they won 1, they lost the other one 3. They lost to Guineastan in their second game 3-0.
Yeah.
But I don't see them moving anywhere. I don't see anything special about them this season at all in the Ykkönen.
No, but they're on 3 points after 2 games, and Klubi 04 is also on 3 points after 2 games.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, same situation with Hoyiko, Klubi 04 players are 2 weeks now, no team training.
Mm-hmm.
So when the postponed games will be played, you'll be interested to see how Klubi 04 will be affected, Yeah. They have, definitely there'll be 2 weeks out of training, 2 weeks, out of sync. So Yippo might just have, an off-shot chance of, getting forward in the Finnish Cup.
Exactly. And the third game of that group actually seems to look like an interesting one.
Yeah.
Guineastan is on 4 points.
Yeah.
After 2 games. Klubi 04 is on 3 points after 2 games.
Yeah.
Both teams will be playing against each other. These 2 teams are the 2 strongest in this group.
Yeah.
Yippo is on 3 points. Mikkel and Palolia is on 1 point. These 2 teams will be playing their last group game also.
Yeah.
This group can go anyhow, anyway.
Yeah. Everything is open, yes. Everything is open at this stage.
Yeah.
But for sure, let's see, like I said, Guineastan will have a huge advantage against Klubi due to their COVID quarantine right now. So, and Yippo, Mikkelin Palloilijat, that will be an interesting game. Mikkelin Palloilijat look like, a team that have very much to do to get their game in order right now. So I'll be most probably think Yippo will be looking strong. The problem with Yippo is they haven't scored too many goals again. They only scored 1 goal within their two games. So if they can find a way to score against Mikkeli, then they have a good chance of, getting through to the next stage of the Finnish Cup, qualifying from this group. Interesting final round. Once the corona quarantines have ended.
We would have had the game if there were no quarantine, but yeah, I guess it's something to look out for. We will be talking about, actually it's not going to be played by the time we'll be recording the next episode yet.
No, but 2 weeks quarantine, yes.
Yeah, they will still be in quarantine. So, but anyway, whenever it's played, when we will be recording the next episode, we'll be talking about it and see where it eventually ended. So, Group E.
Yeah.
Peko 35, Ikenas, EF,
yeah.
Yes, Musa. Shocking group.
Yes. Big surprise on this group. Big surprise, big disappointment from TPS in my books, and I think with most people's books in Finnish football also, very much, still a lot of things to do with TPS. They are building a whole new team at this stage. A whole new team, and it shows on the pitch at this stage still on the season. So they will need time, same thing as with Ilves. They will need time to get this new team to play like the manager wants them to play.
Yeah. I totally agree. With you with them. I was disappointed also, or I am disappointed also, having them lying down on the third position with 4 points.
Yeah.
And Ikenas ahead with 6 points. No disrespect to Ikenas.
Big interest was that PK35, number one place in this group. Just got promoted to Ykkönen from Kakkonen, and right now they played against Ykkönen top team TPS, EIF and Musa, established teams from Ykkönen, and they beat them all. One draw, 2 win, one draw, 2 wins.
Exactly.
It looks like this could be a Cinderella story for PK35.
Actually, I think PK35 got their momentum going after a big transformation against Musa.
Yeah.
From that game, they've just looked unstoppable. From that game,
if they've got their tail up for sure, and if they can keep it up, they have a good chance of starting Ykkönen also, on a bang.
So let's move to Group F, which is the final group that we'll be talking about. The last group that has the Ykkönen team.
Yeah.
So VPS, Vastaan Paloseura, Ropes, Rovaniemi Paloseura, FF Jaro, Kokkolan, PV. Kokkolan is KPV. They are beginning to. They are really, really disappointing me. So
you rooted for them. You said they will be top.
Oh boy.
I remember saying something good things about VPS, didn't I?
VPS should be.
Yeah. They won their group.
Yeah, definitely VPS looks like a team to look out for in the Ykkönen this season.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. The way they play, the way they structure their team, also it makes me feel like they have something for the Ykkönen this season.
Let's see if they can keep it up during the whole season. Like we said, or will they run out of steam towards the end of the season? That's always the risk. If at this stage of the season you're going full steam, everything is good, there's a challenge, of keeping it up the whole season, because the actual season hasn't started yet. It won't start for another, 2 months.
That's true. Well, let's hope they keep it going and make a good season out of their season for themselves.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So
and the final game, like I said, I think VPS won Jaro today. That means that VPS are on 7 points and Jaro with 3 points.
Yeah.
And then the second game that was played today was Rops KPV, and at some stage it was 1-1. I don't know how it ended, but if it ended as a draw, then that would mean that Rops would have qualified for the second round.
Well, yeah.
Or the quarterfinals in this stage, because the group games are played now. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure about the full-time result, but it was 1-1 at some stage. Rops KPV. And Jaro lost, so if they managed to get a point, Rops would have been into the quarterfinals of the Finnish Cup.
Yeah, it would be nice to actually see Ropes qualifying from this group. Ropes is made. If my calculation is totally correct, I think Ropes have an average age of maybe 19 or 20 this season.
Yeah, a young team.
Very young team. So it will be good to have them qualifying from this group and have a feel, probably getting drawn up with the Veikkaus Liiga team.
Yeah. For them to make the Finnish Cup quarterfinals with such a young team, shows two things. They've done an excellent job, and also they have excellent young players.
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, they have a good academy structure. They have an excellent, area where they work with the players, combining school, working with, full-time training.
Yeah.
Excellent thing going on in Rovaniemi.
Yes, but on this note, I think we've covered the two sessions of our podcast this evening, which is the first one is talking about the Group B of the Kakkonen League, the Division 2 league in Finland, and then talking about the results from the Soumi Cup games. So Sebastian, a quick recap, a quick outro for our listeners.
Yeah, like I said, interesting season. Looking forward to in Kakkonen, where the Kakkonen is so-called Group B is my group. It's in the area that I live in and I coach in with my club, FC Haka, the western region of Finland. I've been playing personally against most of these clubs, under 20 teams that play here. Ilves, HJS, Kaapo, Jazz, Krankula IFK, Salpa, TPV, Espoo, Palloirot. All these teams I've played against the under 20s team. So, it's, really something that I'm looking forward to. I know about these clubs. It's really interesting to see what happens during this season.
Yeah.
And to say, I'll just be, Ilves Kakkonen will be with BIF and Honka Academy, the front runners to get promoted. And the relegation battle will be fought with VJS, TPV and Ilves Kissat.
Awesome. Nice to have your views on this Group B teams.
Let's see what happens.
Very, very nice to have your views, and I guess our listeners will definitely enjoy all that we have had to offer them this evening. But on the final note, I would say thanks once again, Sebastian, for joining on this podcast show.
My pleasure, Musa. Again, thank you for having me. Thank you for the listeners. Enjoy being here.
Yeah, it's really interesting having you, and hope to see you in the next episode again.
Definitely, Musa, for sure. Until then, subscribe, take care. See you guys next time.
And remember to comment and leave feedbacks. That only makes us get better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.